10 cringy King Charles moments that gave Camilla the ick. Number 10, political scandals. King Charles had been accused of attempting to influence the British government. In 2015, Charles received confidential papers on the inner workings of the British government and that even elected ministers hadn't seen. How did he manage to get his hands on these papers? I have a feeling the excuse that he was part of the monarchy is not a good enough reason, but for now, let's just say that is why, since it is undetermined. The Guardian received 27 memos dubbed the Black Spider memos because it showed that the royal prince was somehow engaged in efforts about a range of issues, from orders of military helicopters during the Iraq War to illegal fishing of the Patagonian toothfish. The controversy here is that some people believe it's normal for a royal to be involved in political affairs, while some think members of the family should stay out of politics. But what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. Number 9, financial scandal. Another scandal for us to talk about. Charles allegedly accepted unofficial commissions from a previous Qatari prime minister for his charitable endeavors. Sounds fishy. As a supporter of homeopathy, he'd earned the label of being anti-science. Yikes. Charles has also drawn criticism for his lavish spendings. The king has 6 homes on his estate, 11 secretaries, a large staff of servants, many expensive cars, and an annual salary of $20 million. Yeah, I get that he's a king, but it's very interesting to know that not only does he have this insane annual income, but on top of that, the whole family is extremely secretive of their wealth and where exactly they get this money from. Any theories? I want to know. Any theories are welcome in the comments section. Please let me know what you guys think. Number 8, charity scandal. British police had launched an investigation with Charles's charity, the Prince's Trust, after reports of a cash for honor scheme. Accusations were made that a close aide, Michael Fawcett, offered a Saudi tycoon a knighthood in exchange for $2 million in donations. The investigation started after it was reported that Fawcett stepped down from his role as the chief exec of the foundation after being accused of misconduct. It was reported that tens of thousands of dollars were paid to make up for links to the king. So basically, they were trying to bribe Fawcett by offering him a royal title in exchange for money which allegedly would be going towards their foundation. Suspicious. Number 7, not the people's king. As hard as it might be for Charles, a key part of being the king is winning over the people, and as overwhelming his scandalous past has been, it's no surprise that there are still people who do not care for him as a king. Many reports from royal sources have claimed that the newly appointed king has waited 70 years for this moment and wants to do as much as he can to become a progressive monarchy and also to win over the hearts of the nation, as well as internationally. But because of their actions, media outlets and those who are more engaged in the royal family drama, like us, have been diving more into the history of the royals, which, let me tell you, is not the most perfect and influential history in the world. Tainted by the countless controversies and scandals, the royal family has been catching a lot of heat about how they are not using their power for the greater good, but rather abusing it while also remaining very secretive. Number 6, anger issues. The seemingly storybook romance between Diana and Charles. We all know how that ended. But one author claims things were much darker behind closed doors. Christopher Anderson has written a book about Queen Elizabeth's eldest son titled The King, The Life of Charles III. He spoke to numerous palace insiders as well as those who've known the former Prince of Wales or worked with him closely over the years. His goal was to further investigate the 74-year-old's lonely childhood and military training, as well as several scandals surrounding his relationships that rocked the House of Windsor. The marriage between Charles and Diana became so volatile that royal protection officers were wary of all the weapons scattered around the palace. Red flag. Anderson claimed the king had a huge temper. The constant tantrums and throwing a boot jack, which is a heavy wooden device for putting on hunting boots, made of iron and wood, which he threw at Diana's head and missed her, by the way. It was Charles's former valet, Ken Stronach, who alleged to Anderson that he was in the room when Charles, in the middle of an argument with Diana, grabbed a heavy wooden boot jack and threw it at her, missing the princess's head by inches. This relationship was so toxic from the beginning. The fact that it lasted 15 years is sad. Anderson wrote that during the marriage, Charles had sunk into a deep depression and thought he was on the verge of a nervous breakdown. He turned to one of his confidants, Arnold Goodman, and allegedly said, "I have nothing to live for." Goodman allegedly felt that Charles was showing the classic signs of depression. Charles not only believed he was trapped in a loveless marriage, but he feared that a divorce, if it could even be granted by the Queen, would have grave repercussions for his children, the royal family, and the monarchy itself. Number 5, royal wealth. Now that King Charles is living a king-size life, how can we pretend there aren't any regal secrets he's keeping from us? After inheriting the properties from his mother, Queen Elizabeth, Charles has been getting a lot more attention, and obviously we're gonna dig into the English wealth and their secrets. For a regular British citizen, any inheritance over $380,000 is taxed 40%. But King Charles doesn't have to pay anything on properties, jewels, and investments that probably are worth hundreds of millions of dollars. Whatever happened to eating the rich? The royal treatment is getting out of hand. Having all this money and privilege on top of not having to pay all the taxes that you need to pay? Insane. The same document explains that the British Crown is also not legally liable for income tax or capital gains tax. Personally, I think the British people should overthrow the throne at this point because taxes shouldn't be reserved for regular citizens. Or what if they flipped and only taxed the extremely rich? Only. That is a society I would love to live in. Number 4, hiding details about their wealth. The royal family is under few requirements to disclose details of its wealth, but all I'm gonna say is if you want to find out, you can. The family's communications with the government are exempt from freedom of information requests, and their official papers are kept secret by Britain's National Archives for at least 50 years. The lack of transparency has led anti-monarchy groups, including the Republic, to call the monarchy an unaccountable public institution that has the power, secrecy, and influence to willfully abuse its position. Without a change, many details of the royal family's private wealth may never be known. Facts about the Duchy of Lancaster's offshore investments were leaked back in 2017, and those detailed roughly $13 million in offshore accounts. Other reports have suggested questionable foreign dealings or arrangements, including the knighthood offered to a Saudi national in response to the donation to his charitable foundation. Number 3, Princess Diana's letter. Paul, one of Diana's former butlers, said that the princess predicted her own passing in a car crash. Eerie. Apparently she was so scared 10 months before she passed that she wrote to Paul saying that there was a plot made by a member of the royal family and that her car brakes would be tampered with and she would suffer serious head injuries, and all of this would be so that the Prince of Wales could marry again. The letter she wrote read, "I'm sitting here at my desk today in October longing for someone to hug me and encourage me to keep strong and hold my head high. This particular phase in my life is the most dangerous. My husband is planning an accident in my car, brake failure, and serious head injury in order to make the path clear for him to marry." And whatever happened to this letter? They kept it in a very safe place, but will Charles ever elaborate on this super suspicious letter by Diana? Most likely not, but we would love to know the answers to this. Number 2, the royal affair. This one is no big secret. The Princess of Wales was very much aware of Charles cheating on her with Camilla. His mistress at the time was regarded as a villain long before Diana and Charles filed for divorce, and additionally she was resented up until the passing of Diana. The then Duchess of Cornwall was not specifically held accountable for Prince Diana's misfortune, but they did, however, discover a newfound hatred for her. And because of that hatred, Camilla had to hide for months. If Camilla had never gotten herself in this mess with Charles being one of the most hated royals, it would have never been something she'd have to worry about. But it makes you question, if he cheated on Diana, who knows if he's cheated on Camilla? And was able to somehow figure out how to successfully hide it from her. Number 1, the unwelcome mistress. The British public's acceptance of Camilla as Charles's lover was put on hold after Diana's passing. Even though it seemed illogical, Diana's passing made Camilla a supervillain in the royal saga. Charles and Camilla probably would have married much earlier if Diana had survived and gotten married as expected. Instead, for a number of years, they kept the relationship under wraps and out of the public eye. In 2004, the Prince of Wales tied the knot with his longtime partner, but she chose not to style her name as Princess of Wales. And that is all for today. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more juicy royal updates, and I'll catch you next time on The Rich Life.